And good morning, everyone. Welcome to this day. It is another beautiful day outside. We're just going to continue with this June gloom-like weather here in April. I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. On our show today, we have a candidate for the Orange County Sheriff, and that is Don Barnes. He's going to sit down with Lisa, and she'll get to know him, and you'll get to know him as well. Also, we've got the entertainment corner with Paul, and going out to, well, Laguna Playhouse, and they're getting some really interesting productions down there, and this one is based on Mae West, believe it or not, so we'll find out about that. Also, the Yacht Club, we're going to do a golf tips tape, and then the Yacht Club went out, and Lisa went out with them, and you're going to find out about their Newport to Ensenada race, which I believe begins today. That's a very, very famous race. That's been, I don't even know how many decades that's been going on, but you can find out all about that. Now, as meetings go today, we have United M&C Committee in the boardroom at 9 o'clock. United Landscape meeting followed by their tour at 1:30. That also starts in the boardroom. And we have Third Residency Policies and Compliance Task Force. That's always a long one, in the Willow Room at 1:30. Now, I want to bring up the docent tours, even though they're not today, and that is because they're both at 9 o'clock, either tomorrow or on Saturday. And the reason I want to bring those up is because you have to RSVP. You have to call them in advance to get your name on the list. And the number is, of course, 949-268-2040. But I want to bring that to you now, even though it's tomorrow and Saturday, because that way you have time to kind of plan out. All right, the weather is, as I said, it's kind of unusual because we're in the June gloom type weather in April. We usually don't get this amount of fog, but part of the reason is there's a low pressure system, a cutoff low, that is off our coast. It's really more off the coast of, I would say Cambria and those areas. And so that cutoff low is bringing that marine layer to us, and therefore we're getting like this June gloom fog. We get it start coming in overnight around 7 o'clock or so, and it lasts until the mornings, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock or so. I love it. I just love this weather. We're going to be in the mid-70s. Yes, I know, mostly sunny, after morning clouds every single day. And it's not like I'm being lazy, not changing something else, but that's exactly what's going to be. The only difference is a couple degrees here and there difference in temperatures, but that fog should continue. And again, it just depends how quickly it dissipates, but overall, that's what our weather is going to be over the next several days. Now, as we move into Orange County and beyond, the beach communities are going to remain right in the mid-60s or so. As you can see, not much difference there. Now, again, I think it was on Monday that fog kind of dissipated a little bit quicker. So I looked at mid-afternoon, and I think Laguna Beach was about 70. Yesterday, when I looked at it, they were about 66 because the fog kind of ran a little bit longer. Everywhere else in Orange County are the mid to slightly upper 70s as you go inland. Lake Arrowhead, beautiful up there. They don't have to worry about any fog, 69 degrees. Although if you saw yesterday afternoon, there was some sort of scattered clouds out over the local Los Angeles, the mountains that surround Los Angeles. So they got a little bit of cloud layer later in the afternoon. Palm Springs, 99 degrees once again, and San Diego, absolutely beautiful down there at 74 degrees. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Looking for a change of scenery? You don't have to play golf to enjoy all that 19 Restaurant and Lounge has to offer. From a delicious breakfast menu to our delectable lunch and dinner specials. At 19 Restaurant and Lounge, there is something for everyone. Relax with your friends and family and take in the beautiful view from our spacious patio. Or enjoy a cocktail and appetizer in our lounge. 19 Restaurant and Lounge is a great place to socialize, enjoy a meal, or simply take in the view. Join us 7 days a week and experience Laguna Woods' exclusive dining experience.
Managing your own medication can be stressful. For decades, we have watched you stand in line at your local pharmacy and battle with insurance companies, all to be left with the difficult task of organizing, managing, and remembering to take your medication. AmeriPharma offers a new way of simplifying the lives of you and your loved ones.
In previous years, I didn't require any prescriptions, but now I have to take about 7 or 8 due to various conditions. It's a management problem. My nurse told me about AmeriPharma's MedBox. I switched over. Boy, am I glad I did. It's really easy to use and it's solved all my problems.
Get your medications delivered to your door. You'll receive your pre-sorted MedBox that easily allows you to tear and take the required medication regimen at the plainly printed date and time. AmeriPharma MedBox, the new standard in medication management.
Welcome back. Well, in June, we'll have some choices to make, and that includes the Orange County Sheriff. I have Don Barnes, who's here to talk to us about his candidacy. Well, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about sort of your background, and you're currently the undersheriff right now.
Yes, I am the undersheriff of the Sheriff's Department. The Orange County Sheriff's Department is the 5th largest sheriff's department in the nation. We get overshadowed by Los Angeles, and people sometimes don't realize how large we are. Right. But we are the 5th largest. We have 4,000 employees, 700 volunteers, and we have 13 contract cities that we patrol for, and one of them being Laguna Woods, of course, right, where we provide their law enforcement services. I'm on my 30th year with the Sheriff's Department, started in the late 80s, and I've risen up through the ranks to work in every rank within the Sheriff's Department. Starting as a deputy, of course, became a sergeant, was an investigation sergeant. As a lieutenant, a manager, I managed the contract just on the other side of the freeway in Lake Forest for 3 years. I was promoted to captain and was the division commander of our South Operations Division. That's the 10 cities that comprise all of South Orange County, south of Irvine, down to the San Diego border, providing services for 570,000 residents. It's the largest police command in Orange County, and then was promoted to commander in charge of everything outside the jails and the courts, investigations and patrol. So if it flies, floats, has 2 legs, 4 legs, I got to oversee it. Yeah. If you're a young child, a young boy, you want to play cop, you had everything to play with as the commander, and then promoted to assistant sheriff and oversaw 2 commands during that time, including our Orange County Crime Lab, the coroner's office, our training facility, our HR areas, and managed the budget, almost a $900 million budget that I managed during that time. And for the last 2.5 years, I've been the undersheriff of the Sheriff's Department, which is the rank just below the sheriff.
Right, so you've had a lot of experience. You've been in Orange County for a really long time. So as you know, in our election last year for president, many of us decided that we wanted to kind of throw out the old and bring in the new. So in respect to that, why would it be important for us to vote for someone that has been in your position for such a long time?
Well, I think the most important part is about the Sheriff's Department. We have some of the lowest crime in our communities that we patrol. In fact, 9 of the 10 cities with the lowest crime in Orange County are patrolled by the Sheriff's Department. And we provide that at about 40% less cost than you'd pay for a full-service police department. So there's an economies of scale that happens as well. But we're much deeper than that. We have investigative units that other agencies do not provide. For example, I was just here last week doing introductory remarks for our cyber crimes unit. We're the only agency in Orange County that has a cyber crimes unit. And that's important because crime is changing and it's progressing in different ways, and you have to stay ahead of that in order to be able to keep crime low. For example, you don't have to rob somebody at the ATM anymore. You can steal from their bank account from the other side of the planet using cyber criminal technology. So we want to make sure that we keep our residents and those in Laguna Woods apprised of how to keep themselves safe. We also have 5 different narcotics teams, and narcotics obviously is a big issue. In short, to answer your question, I think what you want in a sheriff is somebody who's been there, done that, grown up within the agency, been a manager and executive for the last 13 years of my law enforcement career. And I don't think anybody understands or really knows the agency as well as I do.
Exactly. And what are some of the things that you might do differently?
One thing I really want to try to do, and this is working with some of the municipal partners, the police agencies that have their own police departments. And I have their support and endorsements, which is very important to me. But I sit on several boards, and one of the boards I sit on is the Integrated Law and Justice Agency of Orange County. It's a JPA for law enforcement technology services and products. And as chair, last year we negotiated a deal with LexisNexis, if you know who they are, largest owner of of data about people. They bought a law enforcement data agency called Accurate, and we negotiated a deal with them to provide for every law enforcement officer in Orange County access to this data, which is important. Previously, you had to buy a seat license for everybody. We actually negotiated an enterprise license to get all that data available for everybody and save everybody money doing it. But what that now allows us to do is take all these different data sets, whether you're in Irvine or Huntington Beach or Anaheim or the Sheriff's Department, make all the crime data look the same. You can pull all that data into one location. I want to look at opening an Orange County real-time crime center. So now we'll start looking at crime holistically within the county rather than disparately from city to city, and connect the dots better to help keep our crime low. We have to look at ways to create economies of scale to help keep crime low. We oftentimes miss little things that we can connect better if we work better together.
Let's talk about some of the important aspects to what you have done so long here in Orange County. Maybe just share with us a couple of highlights.
Well, I think what I'm most proud of is the people that I get to work with. You know, I'm 53 years old. I make more money not working than working, believe it or not. I never intended to hit the lottery with a pension system. That changed while I was here, and I have no intention of leaving. I'm actually giving money back now by paying into the pension. But I think the things I'm most proud of is the innovation that we brought to the Sheriff's Department. Some of the things that we provided other people just cannot do. And some of the cases, we've got great casework that we put together. We're really good at solving crime, and I like that part of what we do. Right. But a lot of people don't realize when you contract with the Sheriff's Department the value-added benefit you get with being here. We have really a regionalized police force down in South Orange County. So you may see a Lake Forest car in Laguna Woods and vice versa, and that's because we staff by what you need, and we can move those resources around from city to city. Right. But you also get a homicide team that you don't have to staff for Laguna Woods. We have a sex crimes team, family violence, the narcotics teams I mentioned. We're all value-added benefit that comes with the Sheriff's Department, including tactical teams and helicopters and other things that you get just by being a partner with the Sheriff's Department.
Right. So let's take a look at some of the focus points, especially for our folks here in Laguna Woods. What would be some highlights that they would like to know about your candidacy, and what would be important to them?
I think the things that are most important really to the community now is the challenges that we're facing within law enforcement. Law enforcement has changed mostly because of legislative changes coming out of Sacramento. It started really in 2011 with AB 109, which is state prison realignment. We have prisoners now shifted into Orange County Jail that's not designed for long-term incarceration. It's designed for long-term, they're doing sentences of multiple years in the county jail, and we have about 600 of those individuals within our jails. I actually have capacity within the jail right now. Our jail population is down where it was a decade or 15 years ago. It was at 7,600. It's now at 6,100, 6,200. So we have the ability to house people, but because of Prop 47 and Prop 57, those two laws specifically have changed how we can hold people in jail or book people in jail. To get those reversed, I think, is very important. I will tell the community there's one piece of legislation that we're trying to get on the ballot. It's in signature gathering right now. It's called the Reducing Crime and Keeping California Safe Act. And it will change one aspect of Prop 47 to allow us to book people in the jail for property crimes. And it'll redefine violent crime, which is a result of Prop 57. It's keepcalsafe.org. If you see people signature gathering, I will tell you that's the one you want to sign if you want to reverse the decriminalization effort that's been happening in Sacramento and California over the last several years.
Now, homelessness is something that we've talked a lot about here on the show. Tell us a little bit about, how you plan to work on that.
Well, that's a great question. If we're not for Prop 47, we just addressed the issue up on the Santa Ana riverbed. If you watch what's going on there, we were able to get that population off. We got hundreds of people into services out of homelessness, which is a success. One thing I'm most proud of is when we were closing that down with Judge Carter, we were walking the riverbed, and because of the proactive efforts we had done, we could not find one veteran on the riverbed. All the veterans there had successfully gotten into services. And then we were able to deal with the criminal element. We made over 500 arrests in just a few months on the riverbed, and then we educated really the public on who was really up there. They weren't the economically homeless. These were people who were service resistant that didn't want help, and a lot of them were drug addicted. If not for Prop 47, about 80 to 85% of that population would be in Orange County Jail. We just didn't have the ability to take them there anymore because of the changes in Proposition 47 in 2014.
Right.
So we're able to get them into services, we're able to get them off the riverbed, and most importantly, we're able to do that without an injunction or a restraining order from the federal court.
Okay.
We took the same strategy. We worked Santa Ana Police Department and the City of Santa Ana, dealt with that the same way in the Civic Center. And I have a strategy to bring that to South Orange County that I'm meeting with some of the people down here soon, and hopefully we'll be able to address that the same way by using the same strategy.
Okay. Excuse me, I know that you did talk a little bit about the propositions and another bill that was coming up. Is there anything else in legislature that we should be aware of?
Well, I'll tell you the hardest thing right now, it's almost like going to Mars when you go to Sacramento and talk about common sense legislation. Senator Bates has been a great proponent of public safety issues. We, for the third year, have sponsored legislation to change transportation and sales of fentanyl. Fentanyl is 50 times more potent or powerful than heroin, but it's not viewed the same. So if you were selling heroin, which is 1/50th as potent, you can get an enhanced penalty, but you don't have the same enhancement for selling and distributing fentanyl. So for 3 years in a row, we brought that bill. It was just killed yesterday in the Public Safety Committee. We have another bill that I'm really excited about that we've sponsored, which will require all schools, public or private, through K through 12, to do active shooter training and lockdown drills twice a year. We do fire drills, and that's why we don't have children die in fires anymore in schools, but we do nothing to train our kids and help them be safe during a critical incident, which I think is very important.
Yeah, that's a good idea. At least they'll be prepared if something like that happens.
Yes.
Well, very good. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Good luck to you. And if you have any questions about his campaign, go to donbarnesforsheriff.com. And we'll be right back with the Entertainment Corner after this.
Every 9 minutes, someone is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Join the American Parkinson's Disease Association for the Southern California Optimism Walk on Saturday, April 28th, and help raise funds and awareness that will make a difference. Join us at the beautiful South Coast Botanic Garden for a fantastic day filled with inspiration and hope. Register online or call us for more details.
Hi, it's Desiree from Irvine Subaru, where families come first. As a family-ran dealership, your family's safety is our #1 priority. Come in and find the perfect Subaru from the largest selection of Subarus in Orange County. All models are top safety picks by the Insurance Institute of Highway Safety. We offer the ideal balance of safety, performance, and economy. Irvine Subaru, more Subarus, more safety, more performance, more love.
Welcome to another edition of the Entertainment Corner. I'm Paul Ortiz, and thanks for joining us today. Well, we have another terrific performance going on at the Laguna Playhouse, and this is Dirty Blonde, and we have the star of this production, that's Bets Malone. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, you know, Mae West was such an interesting person. You must be having fun with this role.
Oh my gosh, I was never a fan before, although she was on my radar. I was a little bit more of a Maryland girl, but oh my gosh, I love her. She's such a trailblazer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
She was like Madonna is to us, but back in the 1930s, she's, you know, whether it was feminism or gay rights or writing about sex and talking about all these things that no one really wanted to talk about.
Nobody, yeah. She really was unique.
Yeah, it was interesting too because back then they really tried to censor her. And she said censorship actually made her rich because it really brought some attention to some, you know, things that she really wanted to bring up, but you know, thanks to the press and the things that they were trying to do, she actually was jailed for 10 days as well.
There's a courtroom scene in our show, actually, over her play Sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? Tell me about the show. You know, it starts kind of, it's like in today's period.
It's
but we talk about her life, right?
Yeah, it's modern day. It's basically about two people, strangers who meet on the anniversary of her birthday at her gravesite. And they strike up a conversation, and turns out they're avid fans, and not very common that you would find someone that's obsessed with Mae West.
Right.
And so they find common ground. They have a great little relationship and love story. And in the process, they go back and forth with flashbacks about Mae West's life. And so I play Mae and Joe. And then the gentleman, Steve Gunderson, who plays Charlie, he plays several of my lovers, you know, a boxer, an actor, and then Larry Raven, who's really busy in the show, he plays many, many roles, people in her life as well.
She was really attracted to very unique gentlemen. You know, it was I guess she was married for a short time and said she wasn't married to, but the men in her life were really interesting in the choices she made with these men.
Yeah, I think she used people a bit, you know, but who doesn't in the business, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she definitely was able to see the advantages of different relationships, and she just, really strong personality.
Yeah, I think she was really a bombshell before that term even really started, and then she knew how to, even before obviously social media and marketing, she really knew how to market herself.
Right. Well, it took her a really long time too. It took her over 30 years before she really hit it big, and it was just because she had to find her own. As soon as she figured out what that iconic look was, and it was going to be different than anyone else, you know, the flappers were all the rage, and she was still wearing corsets and, you know, the whole hourglass figure thing.
And like you said, it was so unique for her to sign with Paramount. And she was, I think, 38 years old back then. That, you know, usually they're done by then.
Yeah.
And she was really just starting her career back then, and actually saved Paramount with some of the films she was in.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is your favorite scenes in this production?
We have a great scene. It's a kind of a little montage about the creation of her show Sex, and she pitches it to the director, and he agrees to direct it. And then there's a whole section where he's directing her and trying to help her find her own. You know, she was, for lack of a better word, very balls to the wall, and. He kind of encouraged her to slow down and just own herself and to stop acting. She was always putting on a persona, and he kept saying, just be you know, so he was able to do that for her.
Wow.
And so it's really great. And then after we finish the little direction section, then we go to trial where she gets thrown in jail for indecency. So it's a fun section.
Yeah, that was an interesting part in her life because it really, you know, brought a lot of focus to her. But also, like you said, she spent some time in jail as well. Yeah. What else do you really like about this production? You know, is it the different characters that go through the production, and I imagine you're changing outfits as well, because you know her wardrobe was so extravagant.
Yeah, we get on a treadmill when we start. I mean, truly, and we don't get off for it's hour 40, and no intermission, and we. I think I change my clothes every 6 minutes. That's what we figured out, going back and forth the two characters. So I love that. I love the challenge. I love her. You know, I'm kind of an old school girl, so I like the throwback material and all the one-liners and all that. And then my two co-stars are just the most delicious, wonderful human beings, and so it's really an honor to be on stage with them.
And this isn't your first time at the Playhouse. You've performed there about 8 years ago as well.
Yeah, I was a Wonderette at the Playhouse, and we did Winter Wonderettes and Marvelous Wonderettes, and then Caps and Gowns. So I've been the same person there every time I've been in a show at Laguna. Susie Simpson.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
Now you have a short run because it's going to be running on April 26th through, I believe, the 29th. So it's really running Thursday through Sunday, kind of the weekend. So we want to encourage people to get out there. It's only 6 performances, but at the Laguna Playhouse, what a wonderful place to see a wonderful performance, right?
Yeah, and if you have any interest whatsoever about Mae West, I mean, it is really interesting. We had a lot of friends that came and saw the show, and then they said they went right home and went online and started looking up and reading about her, because it's really a fascinating person.
I think that's what's interesting is, like, our generation, we kind of remember her and W.C. Fields. We kind of remember those actors.
And he's in the show too.
Okay, yeah, he did quite a few films with her, I believe. Yeah, but the people in the generation that live in our community, they would know Mae West especially because, you know, she was doing vaudeville, and then that's when black and white movies really started, and she became such a force, and of course a female that was actually carrying the film. You know, she actually discovered Cary Grant.
Yep.
So
that's in there too.
Yeah. So everything you really want to know about Mae West is in this show.
Yeah, truly. I mean, they did a beautiful job structuring it and just giving you little snippets and piquing your, you know, curiosity about
Yeah.
all that she did, because
Wow.
she had a very long career. She worked all the way until she was like 89 years old, I think.
She was like, she wrote. It was funny, we had a chance to see an interview that she did with Dick Cavett in the 70s.
I remember, yeah.
And she said, well, do you type? And she goes, no, I just write. And and then somebody would put it into a typewriter back then.
Yeah.
But she really wrote quite often as well.
Yeah, and invested in a lot of real estate.
Oh.
Yeah, she just did a lot of things that nobody was
Smart,
doing at
huh?
her. Yeah, very smart
Yeah,
woman.
Good for you. Well, it sounds like you're really enjoying the show.
Yeah, I love it.
You'll be in rehearsals for the next couple days, and then the show is going to be starting on April 26th. Well, great.
And there's a half-price code if you use the word West.
Great.
You call the box office and use the word West, you could get a half-price ticket.
Sounds great. Can't beat that. If you want to see a wonderful show and get a half price off your ticket, be sure and put in West when you call the box office, or tell them the word West, and you'll be able to get 50% off on your tickets. You know, the Laguna Playhouse right down the street from us here, right around Laguna Canyon Road, and a great place to not only go to enjoy a nice dinner over there and then see a wonderful production and see you on stage. What's next for you?
After this, I'm going to be doing Mamma Mia in Vista, California, the beautiful Moonlight Stage Productions.
Oh,
And then later this summer, I'm going to do Fun Home at the San Diego Repertory Theater.
Great. And you're a local person in San Diego, so it's
Yeah.
nice to kind of be at home and do some
It
work.
is nice.
Great. Well, we thank you for joining us on the Entertainment Corner. It sounds like a great show.
Thank you for having me.
encourage people to be sure and tell them West and get your 50% off those tickets. And that's only going to be going on from April 26th until the 29th. And we'll see you again next time on the Entertainment Corner.
Thank you.
Great job.
Over the past 20 years, BreastLink has successfully treated thousands of women across Southern California. Our doctors like Dr. Lisa Curcio have helped women overcome numerous health challenges. With her experience, compassion, and the high quality of care she gives to every patient, Dr. Curcio is also a breast cancer survivor. She offers patients the newest and most effective surgical treatment options. Doctors like Dr. Curcio are the reason BreastLink delivers the care you deserve with the quality you expect. Whether you need us now or later, we're always here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Thomas. Sports Talk. Come join me here every Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. for sports news, highlights, and interviews for all of Laguna Woods and around the world. Put it on your calendar. It's a great way to start your day with me and the Sports Talk way.
Individual care, specialized care. At Harvard Eye Associates, your vision and quality of life can be trusted to a group of specialists that provide advanced technology for the treatment of cataracts, including laser-assisted surgery, a broad range of intraocular lenses, and astigmatism correction. Come join the circle of care at Harvard Eye Associates, where the future of vision is today.
At El Toro Pharmacy, your health needs and your quality of life is our top priority. We can be trusted with all your prescription needs, delivered free to your doorstep. Call us to have your prescription transferred. We will take care of everything. No hassle to you. We are a full-service pharmacy carrying all your over-the-counter medicines at competitive prices. And we offer complete diabetic care and your immunization requirements too. Under new management, come visit us in Moulton Plaza. El Toro Pharmacy will never be undersold, and we offer the finest after-sales services.
Good morning. Joel Walker, your golf professional here at Laguna Woods Village. Beautiful morning today. It's Free Tip Thursday. So anyway, this morning what I wanted to talk to you about in your golf swing, no matter how long you've been playing, if you're just starting the game, if you've been playing for a few months, a few years, your whole life, right? The best thing you can do and to think about in your golf swing is, how do they work? Well, good golf swings work from the ground up, not necessarily up here. Our arms and our hands, the club, the shoulders, right? All needs to work in sync, and we want to hit nice, consistent shots. We want to have balance. Balance from the ground up. B-A-L-A-N-C-E. That's the word of the day, balance. All right, so as we set up to the ball, we're going to hit our shots. We feel that nice coil in our shoulders, right? We're reaching back, we're engaging our hips a little bit. We want to stay steady and we want to stay balanced, because none of this great stuff up here that you're constantly working on is going to work very well or consistently if we're off balance. If I'm dangling around here, too much on my toes, right? The club gets thrown off and the shots just get inconsistent, right? So as we do take our backswing, right, we're going to turn those shoulders, engage our hips a little bit, and we want to be solid, nice and balanced on our right foot, kind of on the center instep here. You know, a hurricane might blow me over, but a 30-mile-an-hour wind won't. I know that. So I'm right here and solid, steady at the top of our backswing. Now the same thing can be said as we follow through to the finish, right? I want to be balanced over here too. Got a whole foot and a whole nice leg to use to steady myself as I finish the swing. Steady. Balance. What's the word of the day? Balance. That's right. Okay, so as I'm here, right, I'm in the right spot. I'm in the right part of town. Now if I'm creating that swing and taking into the action, and now I'm out on my toes, boy, you see a lot of people doing that, right? Falling off balance. As all that energy's generating out here to our toes. Want that. Same thing be said if I'm rolling out here onto my heel. Not good, right? So use your whole leg, use your whole foot, use that center of that foot. It's there, it's like a nice post. Boom, balanced. B-A-L-A-N-C-E, balance, that's the word of the day. Enjoy yourselves, let's keep our golf course in good shape, and hope to see you guys around. Thank you. I wanted to let you in, it's not really a secret, bit of a limited space though, but I've been offering a no-cost boot camp where we do some stretching in the morning, we do some golf fundamentals, some mental stuff of what's going on, you know, in the mind while we're swinging the golf club and playing the golf course. So if you want to join me for that, I'd be glad to have you. I'd be most excited about meeting everyone who haven't met yet. If you want to come out, the sign-ups, you can call me. My direct line is 268-2024 to sign up. They're 3-week periods, and space is limited, but we can get you, in the system and ready to roll on those 3-week boot camps. A lot of stretching, some minor strength training, and just what is important in swinging the club, maybe expanding our range of motion a little bit. Again, working on balance, which is very key in the swing, and most of all, having fun. We can talk world politics too, if you'd like, philosophy. I do have a degree in philosophy. Anyway, please join me. And also, I've got another thing going on that's quite exciting. People have taken great advantage of and improving, is a free tip Thursday. Come out in the morning at the driving range in our lower teaching area, and I'm there for about an hour or so. Come up for a few minutes. We'll discuss a couple of things you might have questions about regarding your golf swing. I'll take a look at you, do a swing check. A couple of free tips. Free is good. If it's free, I'll take 3. So anyway, come and see me. And again, if I haven't met you, I'll be really looking forward to meeting you. And greetings and good golfing. Thank you.
Different is powerful, yet calming. Different is a friendly smile. Different is accepting, not judging.
Different is the unexplained, left to the imagination.
A day without plans, to walk, to explore, a coastal drive with no destination. Different is anything but predictable. Different can be good. At South County Lexus, you'll find different is amazing.
The Laguna Woods Yacht Club is dedicated to joy and skills of sailing. We are at the Dana Point Harbor with the members of the Yacht Club who are going to talk to us about the membership and a very exciting opportunity that they have coming up with the Newport to Ensenada race. I'm with Jan Badgley, who's the staff commodore with the Laguna Woods Yacht Club, who's going to give us some insight about the upcoming race, the Newport to Ensenada. Well, thank you for having us out here. It's a gorgeous day.
It is beautiful. And a nice breeze. It should be good to go out sailing later.
I know, which we're going to do. So tell me a little bit about, real quickly, how the Yacht Club came about.
Well, in 2006, the Laguna Woods Yacht Club had its first Commodore, Charlie Bengal, and there were a group of sailors. And in 2007, we had our first entrance into the Ensenada Yacht Race. And the comedy was that the 4 people involved were the Commodore, the Vice Commodore, and 2 other members. And the boat they were going on was not very old, but they were. They totaled almost 300 years together, all 4 of them. And they were excited because there was an ancient mariner division, and they thought, oh, we qualify. Come to find out that you had to have a boat older than 1939, so they were disappointed. And they did go and completed it, and that was the year that half of the fleet turned around because there was basically no wind.
Oh gosh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And then how many members do you have now?
About 116.
Okay.
So it grows as the summer comes on.
Well, and I know you're looking for new members. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that they can do as a member.
We have trips to Catalina and Oceanside. We have monthly cocktail parties. We have picnics, and we have a great social calendar. And of course, the boat hiatus goes out 5 or 6 days a week, as well as the boat that we're taking on the Ensenada race, La Chasse.
Right. Now, let's talk a little bit about, you're a 501c3, so you do fundraising, and where does the money usually go to?
It goes to support the boat. You know, the berthing is expensive, and there has to be painting and annual maintenance. There's always something breaking and being repaired and updated on a boat. Boats are very expensive investments, but we like that we can share it with all the members. The members are, in effect, the reason that there's a club.
Right, exactly. Now, just so you know, Jan is going to be the only woman on a crew of 5 that's going to be in the Newport to Ensenada. Are you intimidated, or are they intimidated?
I hope neither. I've sailed the whole coast of California. I've owned a boat before, and I've been sailing since 1973, so I feel confident I'll be down in the galley probably making sandwiches.
No. I'm sure you have other skills. Tell me about some of the skills that you need to be on this boat.
A good sense of balance helps.
Okay.
No, we go out sailing all the time. What do you need to sail? Enthusiasm. We see lots of marine life. Some of the skills are, using the sheets and the equipment and making sure you stay on board, don't fall over.
Well, she makes it sound so easy, but I think we're going to see that it's not as easy as you make it sound, because there are some definite things that you really have to be careful about, and other things that we'll talk to Lloyd about later. Anything I've missed?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, excellent. And we'll come up with talking to Lloyd.
Oh, you know what I did?
Oh, wait, she found something else.
I did forget to say, because we are a California beneficial nonprofit corporation and our club is for people 55 years and above, that we accept gratefully donations to help support the club. So if you need a tax benefit or you want to do an endowment, we are here and available.
Okay. All right. We'll be right back after this. I have Jim Updike, who is the treasurer for the Laguna Woods Yacht Club, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the 22 times that he has already sailed this Newport to Ensenada. That's a lot of times.
That's a lot of times, but it's such a fun race, and people, the camaraderie, the people that participate in it. The race hit a high point back in the 1980s where there were 600 boats in the race. This year so far we have, there's about 180, so it's come down a bit, but it's still a lot of fun.
So tell me a little bit about some of the people that are in the race. I know you mentioned somebody very famous.
Oh yes, Roy Disney, for example, has a boat called Pyewacket. He's done the race, I think, just about every year. Dennis Connors, I think, is going to be in the race this year. He does it periodically. So the racing, yachting community, this is a big deal for the people in Southern California. This race has been going on since 1947, and everybody loves to do this race.
So it's been 10 years since the Laguna Woods Yacht Club has participated. What do you anticipate differently this time?
I don't know that we anticipate anything totally different this time. When you do the race, you pray that you're going to have pretty good wind, and some years you do, some years you don't. So I don't anticipate that there's going to be a whole lot of differences this year.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how the race works briefly, where I know we were talking about how you line up and, and where it starts and how it ends and that kind of thing. If you just give us a quick overview.
Sure. The race starts off Newport Pier. There are 2 start lines. They usually start 20 boats at a time on these 2 start lines, and the starts begin around noon on Friday, the 27th. Every 10 minutes they'll start boats. Then you sail all the way down to Ensenada. If you draw an actual line from the start to the finish, it's about 125 miles. The finish is just off the Ensenada Harbor, over by the Hotel Corral. The race, one of the things that people say about the race is that it's won at night, because the wind tends to shift around a lot, tends to shut off usually. So that's when you have to work the hardest, changing sails and making sure that you keep the boat moving.
Right, so how do you guys actually practice for this?
Well, I think just about everybody on board has been sailing for years and years. And some of us have been doing a lot of racing over the years. So it's not necessarily a question of actually practicing. We've gone out a number of times as a team to be able to know that we can set the kinds of sails that we want to set, make sure that we know all of the safety equipment that's on board the boat. So that's about it.
Okay. Now, I know there's something brand new that you guys are going to have on the boat for this race. It's called the YB tracking system. So tell me a little bit about how that works and why the residents of Laguna Woods are going to be interested in that.
Well, this is a system that's actually been in place now for a number of years, but it's been in place for races like the Transpac race, for example, that goes from Long Beach to Honolulu, 2,000 miles. So this will be the first year that NOSA, the organizing authority, is going to put these trackers on every boat. It's a free website that people will be able to go to. You can actually go to a menu that's on the left side of the web page, look for the name of a boat, or you can filter it down to the class that the boats are starting in, and you can actually track the boat all the way down to the end of the race.
Okay. Oh, that's great, and we'll have that information for you guys at the end of our episode here. But very exciting stuff.
It is.
You've got 5 people, and they're all going to be running around in a very small space together.
That's right. We better get really friendly.
I bet, for a long period of time. What approximately how long does it take?
It depends on the wind. You have to finish the race. The race is officially over with on Sunday morning at 11:30. So if you haven't finished by then, typically boats will finish probably from about noon on Saturday to Saturday night. But again, it depends on the wind.
Okay. You mean like Sunday night?
Saturday night.
So Saturday night. Okay.
Saturday night. Sunday morning at 11:30, the race is officially over. So if you haven't finished by then, you might as well just go home.
Okay. Which they probably will because they're so tired.
Probably will, yes.
All right. Did I miss anything? Anything you'd like to?
So.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I have the Commodore of the Laguna Woods Yacht Club with us, Lloyd Chase, who owns the boat behind me called La Chasse. Is that correct?
La Chasse.
Oh, La Chasse. Okay, I said that incorrectly. Well, what does it mean?
It means the hunt in French.
Oh, the hunt.
The hunt.
The hunt for what?
The hunt for anything, whatever you're hunting for.
Fishing, the hunt for a trophy.
A hunt for the other boats and trophies and whatever is out there.
Well, it sounds exciting. How long have you been a sailor? Would I correctly say it that way?
I've been sailing for 56 years.
That's a long time.
A long time. I started out in smaller boats and gradually moved up to this boat. I've owned it for 20 years and turned every screw and nut on it. So
yeah, he said he could see, he knows every nook and cranny on this boat, which we're happy about because we're going to be on it. Tell me a little bit about the boat you have.
Well, it's a Catalina 30. It's a very popular boat. About 5,000 or 6,000 of them were built in previous decades. It's not made anymore, but there still are an awful lot of them sailing and a lot of them on this dock that race periodically here. And I've owned this one for 20 years, and I've had a great time cruising it. It's a wonderful boat for a small family.
Now, is this the first time that you've been in this kind of race?
No, I've been in races before, but not in this boat. This boat was set up for cruising. I've raced on Catalina 30s, on Newport 30s, and smaller boats. Usually other people's boats. Sometimes I skippered them, sometimes I was the crew. But I raced for many years in my own boat. It was called a Thistle, a smaller boat. And I could say a little bit more about races if you're interested, how they vary. And this is a typical one that's called point to point, where you go from one point to another. A lot of races in smaller boats are done around a course with buoys, around the buoys racing. It's really quite a different type of race.
Well, let's look at the chart you have here, because you said point to point, and
point.
So tell me what you mean.
Here's a shot of the course. Starting up here in Newport, you pass Dana Point, where my boat is here, this little green thing. You pass San Diego. You make a little turn here in north of Todos Santos Bay, and the finish line will be down here, right off Ensenada. So it's a 125-mile race. And in principle, if you can maintain a speed like 5 knots, which is not uncommon, you could finish in 24 hours. We'll be lucky if we do that. Now, one of the things about our class is that we are in the Jenniker Cruise class, as it's called, and we're allowed to use the engine from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., pardon me, but we take a time penalty for that. So one of the things we'll have to think about is, do we do that? And if the wind is very weak, we might do that. So that's our special class. But the other thing about it, I might say, is that there are 16 boats in our class, the starting. And none of them are anything like a Catalina 30. And you wonder, how are we going to decide who wins when they all have different boat speeds? Right. If I'm against a boat that's twice the length of mine, for example, a 60-footer, their hull speed is 41% larger than mine, because it goes as a square root of the hull length. And all that is taken care of with a handicap. That's called a PHRF rating. That's Performance Handicap Racing Fleet, and it's determined by years of experience in boats racing against each other in various wind conditions. So for example, our PHRF rating is going to be 214. So I'm racing against a boat with a rating of 200. What that means is that he has to beat me by over 14 seconds a mile to win.
Okay.
So that's how the handicap works.
Okay, so like golf, but way more complicated.
Well, it's like golf.
I know, if you have a handicap, that's a good thing, right?
That's a good thing.
Okay. So the boat is safe. So I know you have some safety issues or safety concerns that you want to make sure that you point out to us.
Well, basically, there have been enough sailing accidents when racing that people have come up with a lot of criteria for what you have to do in order to race in the open ocean like this. And we have all of those things on the boat. They deal with things like man overboard, crew safety in terms of safety, first aid equipment, being able to obtain help if you need rescue with the radio that's specially built for that. And of course, we'll have that NOSA tracker that will tell everybody where we are. And what I'll do is I'll show you some of those items on the boat.
Okay, well then let's get to it. We'll have you show us the stuff on the boat.
One of the important things about ocean racing like we're doing is making sure that people stay on the boat and safe. And I'm going to demonstrate some of the things that help us do that. One of the simplest things you can do is to wear a personal flotation device. Now, this one is one that's not inflated until it touches the water or until I pull a cord here. And then it blows up due to a CO2 cartridge in it. The nice thing about this is that if I fall in the water and I'm incapacitated, there is an automatic inflator that when it senses the seawater will blow it up. Now, that's one important thing to have because you don't want to be in the water without one of these on, especially at night. Now, one of the other things you do to keep people on the boat is to tether them down, and what I'm going to do is to hook a tether up to the harness that's incorporated in this. And then what I can do is to connect this to something called a jack line. This is the jack line right here, this black line. And if I want to walk the deck, I walk the deck with this connected to the jack line, and this keeps me connected to the boat. Now, I may fall overboard if I'm on the wrong side and the jack line is there, but it will keep me connected, and that's one of the important things. Good. Now, in the event that a person doesn't stay connected for one reason or another, and does happen to go overboard, there's an item over here that's called a Dan buoy. What this is if you throw it in the water, it automatically inflates and turns into a man overboard pole with a flag and a light that's on it.
Okay. Well, that's kind of like when you're water skiing.
You keep track of where that man overboard went. Now, the other thing about man overboard is that there is a global positioning system device here that has an MOB button on it. If a person goes overboard, you push that button, it automatically records the coordinates of that person who went overboard. Now, if we do have a person going overboard and have to rescue him, back of the boat has something called a life sling, which we trail in the water. The person connects himself up to the life sling. We pull him to the boat, put a block and tackle on it, and pull him out of the water like a big catch. So those are the things that really...
I think that sounds awful.
These are the things that are very important when you're racing, especially at night, where people can get lost in the water and very difficult to find.
Exactly.
Now,
Okay, good.
We also have a special radio on this boat that has distress calling. We just push a red button, and we automatically transmit a distress call with our GPS coordinates that can be picked up by the Coast Guard and other boats in the race. So that's an important thing if the boat happens to be sinking and you'll have to jump in the water.
Well, that won't be happening today.
That won't be happening today.
Okay, so Lloyd just gave us the rundown on safety. So we think we're set for our sailing today. So come along with us, and we're heading out. So in any case, if you guys are going to follow the race, the Newport to Ensenada race, it's Friday. You can go to their website, which is www.nosa.org, but the link won't be on the website until Friday, and you'll be able to find that on the right-hand side of their website, and that will be starting live coverage at 10:50 in the morning on Friday. And they also have a Facebook page, so if you wanted to go ahead and follow them on their Facebook page, you can do that. Or if you're an Instagrammer, you can do the hashtag N2E. So that was a very fun sailing thing. So what do we have for movies now?
Our movie is Molly's Game on Friday. This is based on a true story of Molly Bloom, an Olympic-class skier who ran the world's most exclusive high-stakes poker game and became an FBI target. And good movie. It's rated R primarily for adult situations and language. And it stars Jessica Chastain as Molly and Idris Elba, and also Kevin Costner is in this.
Yep.
So good movie, and it is based on a true story, and I think it happened in the 90s.
That's probably about right,
I think that's when it happened.
Yeah.
But you'll enjoy that movie. And then our Monday is
Phantom Thread, that has Vicky Creeps, Daniel Day-Lewis. It was up for a nomination. I don't know if it won or not for costumes, but the costumes are amazing in it.
Yeah.
Set in the 1950s in London, Reynolds Woodcock is a renowned dressmaker whose fabulous life disrupted by a young, strong-willed woman, Alma, who becomes his muse and lover. However, it doesn't sound like it's disrupting his fabulous life because he designs all these amazing, amazing outfits and makes her wear them. She models them, and I'm assuming he sells them because I've actually haven't seen the movie. So looks like a pretty interesting movie nonetheless.
Yes, it should be pretty good, and lots of good movies coming your way in May and in June. One of them coming up in June is currently, I think, still in theaters, and that is Black Panther, which is just broke.
Oh, we got that.
I think it's the third highest grossing movie in history, and the #1 movie of all time that was released during the winter season, which was released in February. And they said how that changed the game of when big blockbuster movies are being released now.
Yeah.
It's no longer just summer.
Exactly.
So,
and that's a good movie, so hold on to your seats on that one.
Yeah, so very good. All right, I want to tell you about the Senior Summit, that happened last week. We got information about when we are going to be broadcasting that. It'll be Saturday, May 5th, also Sunday, May 13th, Tuesday, May 22nd, Thursday, the 24th, and Wednesday, May 30th for you. So we'll have that on several times, at several different times. And it was very popular. They had wonderful guest speakers. I think it's going to run about 2 hours or so. It ran, the actual event ran longer, but of course they're breaks in between. And as I said, really good speakers for that. And we'll bring that first to you a week from Saturday. So that means May 5th.
Okay. Why don't we talk about the Jewish Food Festival?
Yeah.
We just had them on, and they were just adorable. And it sounds like they're going to have so much amazing food. That's Sunday, April 29th from 5 to 8 p.m. in Clubhouse 1 and the patio. And they're going to have all sorts of dancing and food, and you can go to different kinds of booths. It should be really fun. So that should be, that's on this Sunday, April 29th.
Yeah.
So how's that weather holding up?
The weather is absolutely beautiful. As I was saying earlier, this is, I love this kind of weather because we get the nice cooling fog. It comes in the evening and till about mid-morning, and then it dissipates. So we're going to be in the mid to low 70s throughout this week, as you can see. Not much change every day. The difference is how much fog, if it's going to flow out a little bit sooner, and really the temperatures. The temperatures I have there could fluctuate as well. There's a cutoff low that is off our coast. It's really, the center of it is probably off, San Luis Obispo and those areas. It just depends how that moves around, and that could change really the temps a tiny bit, not too much, but overall just very pleasant weather. And around Orange County, the beaches are going to be in the mid-60s today. Everywhere else, mid to upper 70s. Headed down to San Diego, beautiful down there at the mid-70s as well. And I love going down. I haven't been down there for a while.
San Diego?
But I do like San Diego. Yeah, it's fun to go
nice.
down there.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is. And if you want, I guess you could track the race and get down there at Point Loma.
Well, you could wave them as they go by.
Watch them go by if you want to do that.
Yep, you can. And then on tomorrow's show, we have the VMS Director Update, and we're going to be giving you an update on the Memorial Golf Tournament that's coming up in May. And then we have Leslie, is it Gabola? Gabola, adapt to it. And then Joshua Mundell with Neighbor Ing.
Neighbor Ing.
Interesting.
Yes, we'll find out about that. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a
Take
good
care.
day.